Well, it looks like YouTube has quietly deleted more than 700 videos that document Israeli human rights violations, war crimes, and other abuses as part of an effort by our government here in the United States to essentially bury evidence of Israel's war crimes in Gaza and the West Bank. Now, according to reporting from The Intercept, YouTube surreptitiously deleted all these videos in early October by wiping the accounts that posted them from its website, along with their channel's archives. The accounts belong to three prominent Palestinian human rights groups: Al-Haq, Al-Mezan, Center for Human Rights, and the Palestinian Center for Human Rights. These three YouTube channels hosted hours of footage documenting and highlighting alleged Israeli government violations of international law in both Gaza and the West Bank. And it's really important to have that record because, as we know, the Hasbara coming from Israel is strong. Our politicians are bought, and oftentimes bought on behalf of Israel, on behalf of doing favors for Israel. And I don't want what has happened over the last 2 years to be misrepresented in history books in the future. I want documentation of the war crimes that have been committed. But there is a very real effort, and a successful effort at that, to essentially wipe the internet of these videos. So the deleted videos range in scope from investigations, such as an analysis of the Israeli killing of American journalist Shireen Abu Akleh, to testimonies of Palestinians tortured by Israeli forces, and documentaries like The Beach about children playing on a beach who were killed by an Israeli strike. So according to The Intercept, the deletion only affected the group's basically their official channels, and any of the alternate channels they might have, or if the videos had been reposted by other channels. Luckily, those channels are still active, those videos are still viewable. But the reason why these three accounts were targeted is specifically because of the fact that Donald Trump and his administration, soon after he got elected, pretty close or pretty soon in his second term, decided to target these three organizations. We all know at the behest of which foreign government, but you get the point. So while both Trump and Biden rejected the legitimacy of the arrest warrants for Benjamin Netanyahu and Yoav Gallant by the International Criminal Court, Trump did take a hard stance in shielding Israel from accountability. In the early days of his second term, he renewed sanctions against the International Criminal Court, which is so pathetic, issued new, more severe measures against court officials and anyone accused of aiding their efforts. So it's okay to aid and abet the terrorist state of Israel. But when it comes to the International Criminal Court that tries to hold war criminals accountable, oh, we can't have that. We need to punish them and anyone who aids and abets them. In September, Trump specifically sanctioned the three Palestinian human rights groups, and the Treasury announced that the groups directly engaged in efforts by the International Criminal Court to investigate, arrest, detain, and prosecute Israeli nationals, as they should. As they should. Those Israeli nationals they're talking about have committed atrocities, and they should be held accountable for it. It's the first time the US has levied sanctions against an organization specifically for its efforts to use lawful, peaceful tools of advocacy in pursuit of legal accountability. There is no pretense other than the group's work on legal issues that the administration doesn't like. And The Intercept isn't just assuming that this is the reason why. YouTube has confirmed to The Intercept that it deleted the group's accounts as a direct result of State Department sanctions against the groups after a review. They say, quote, Google is committed to compliance with applicable sanctions and trade compliance laws. YouTube spokesperson Boot, that's his real name, Boot Bullwinkle, said in a statement. Okay. So I'm not surprised by any of this, Waz. I don't know if the censorship is gonna work now. I think in a day and age when legacy media really had like a monopoly on what kind of information gets out there, yeah, the censorship will work. But there are too many independent sources now. And like, what is Trump gonna do? Just label everyone a terrorist? You're gonna label Dave Smith the terrorist? Is that what you're gonna do?
Yeah, I don't. I mean, this is what they did on YouTube. It's just funny. It's kind of reminiscent of the COVID stuff and how far they took all of that, way too far under Biden. And this is just more of that. And it didn't work for the COVID stuff either.
Right.
Like people were like, wait a second, you can't even just talk about this? Like YouTube will literally demonetize you, take your video down. Instagram, all these other platforms will just take you down for that. And I think this will have the exact same effect. It's not gonna have a chilling effect. It's gonna have an effect of basically magnifying what is going on with that.
Yeah, you're so right about it. And look, there's definitely a portion of the free speech right that was full of it, and they're definitely trying to censor today. But I'm really happy to see that there's a sizable portion of the right that was real about it, and they don't take kindly to the censorship at all. And they're calling it out. I love to see that. Because if there is that agreement between us on the left, who are very critical of Israel and anti-war in general, if we can form an alliance on an issue like this, the importance of keeping accurate information available for people, I think that's a good thing. And by the way, the censorship on COVID, I think one of my biggest regrets was how I handled or reported on COVID, right? Because I think I was far too deferential to the so-called experts. And in some cases, the experts were lying to us. Certainly the lab leak, they were lying to us about that. There were other things as well, right? The COVID shots, I got the COVID shot, I got the jab. Okay, I don't regret it, but I wish I was a little more vocal about how no, young kids don't necessarily need to be vaccinated unless they have comorbidities, right? And demonizing people, censoring people who wanted to ask questions. They weren't even necessarily like declaring anything. They're just curious, like, is this really safe? Boom, your channel gets banned. I should have been more vocal against that. You know what I'm saying? But at least I learned lessons, and I hope. And it's precisely because I learned those lessons that I'm trying to get people to understand, if you're engaging in an effort to censor people right now, you are only hurting yourself. You're only empowering what you believe are the so-called bad actors. And in fact, you might actually be misinformed on why it is that you want to ban these people in the first place or censor these videos in the first place.
I think most importantly, folks need to understand that it's always going to come back around.
Yeah.
Like, they might be censoring somebody you don't like right now, and you're like, oh, good, shut them up. Let's do it. It's going to come back around on you and the people that you feel aligned with eventually, I promise you. And that's the biggest reason not to support it.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.